Okay, my name is Mark McGrain. I'm the Council Commissioner. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight as we go over our camp reservation system. I'm very excited about this system. No more having to deal with the paper application and the calendar, and is somebody reserved? Is the place already booked? You'll be able to go right onto the calendar and see this live. So if a space is available, it's available. If we happen to have any kind of an issue with the building, we can shut it down right then and make it unavailable. It's great. Just the interactive part of this is really good for us to be able to see this, and I'm sure you're really going to enjoy it. I think it's a pretty user friendly system, but this is still building off of the same system we use for event reservations, our registrations. Here we are on our council website. We are working on getting another link right across the top just for camp reservation. Right now on the home page, you'll see that there is a link right down here. So if you click right on that link, it's going to open right into the camp reservation system. Now, this is our landing page. This explains the rules of camping. You'll see nice pictures of both Camp Brulé and Camp Gorton on here. I'll go over some of the other features on this page in a minute, but I want to cover some of the changes that have happened with the reservation system as opposed to the permits everybody was used to. So in the past, you'll remember that you've had to provide copies of your certifications. That is no longer true. With this new system being in there, this is going to follow a lot like you going to rent a campsite and go someplace else. You're responsible for your own training. As is outlined by Guide to Safe Scouting. If everybody's required to have current youth protection, so it's there. If you're doing a swimming event, you're required to have current safe swim defense. Everybody has to have hazardous weather. If it's a Cub Scout pack, you're required to have blue, and so on and so forth. So you're required to have this. The expectation is on you and not us as a council to validate that you have that training, and that's what that big section is right here. Camp is open for rental by scouting units, non-scouting units. We even handle special contracts. So, maybe an eagle ceremony or a wedding or a family gathering, like a reunion. And if you want to do that, we have contact information right down here for that. Now, one of the other things with this system is reservations have to be made no less than 14 days prior to the weekend. So there is no going and trying to reserve a building or campsite 2 days before or coming on Thursday. In essence, we've got to be able to plan. Our staff has to be able to plan and properly planned program. So we don't support the idea of trying to do a reservation Thursday to go to camp that Friday. Minimum of 14 days to do any of that. So that is all explained on there. In the meantime, right now, because of COVID, we are not renting any of the buildings. In New York State, there is no overnight camping by a unit. Overnight camping is for families in New York. But units are welcome to come up and use the campgrounds on a day use idea for, fishing and hiking and the prairie grounds. And there are a lot of great activities that are up there, and you can go ahead and reserve for up there. It's not just showing up on a whim. So this is the main page that we look at. Across the top, home is this. It brings you right to this page. So at any time, you can always start over and go here. Scouting properties, this is a nice feature with the company that we're working with on here. If we click on that, it'll show you the locations all throughout here. But, as you kind of scroll a little bit, down here, you can look at the not managed by camp reservation. So these are all camps that you could click on, and you can go to their website in detail. So if you wanted to take a long trip across the U.S., back when we were able to do some of these things, travel to other areas, and you want to stay at scout camps along the way, this would be a great way to help plan your trip, is to come along, look through this. You don't have to go to every council's website and look. You can come right here to see that. So I think this is a great feature, and I think it'll be very helpful for some of our units planning their trips. All I did was hit the back arrow to bring me back to this home page here. And again, that was under scouting properties. We have the camps. So a listing for all of our camps. If you want to look at just Camp Brulé, if you want to look at just Camp Gorton, if you want to look at just the Dorman Wilderness Outpost, you can select any one of those. Next area is my account. Now, if you've set up an account for event registration. So if you've registered for a winteree or a polar bear or summer camp, you had to create an account. And it's the same login information as here. And if you haven't done it, I strongly encourage you to do it, because this will be the easiest place to find all of your reservation information. Otherwise, you have to make sure that you hang on to the email that comes to you, because there will be a link to click onto to get to your reservation in case you need to make changes or make a payment, or you want to delete it out. If you don't create a login and do it under there, then you'll have to use that the email that came to you. Home is always is that a few settings to change in there. So if you wanted to set it up, we support pricing for units in the Five Rivers Council. We have some pricing for out of council units, non-scouting groups, and council event would be for anyone who is running a council or district activity. So that's restricted to those areas only. So please don't select on that one. We'll just end up deleting out your registration if we see it. And then up in here, of course, is your shopping cart, and it's like any other shopping cart for online purchasing. It fills up with the items that you are purchasing. And not to get confused by it, when we see this, one day is one item. The one building is one item. So you'll kind of see it grow if you're doing multiple areas or if you're doing for multiple days. So let's take a look at the two camps real quick. So if we look at Camp Relay, there's some pictures that'll show up along here. Reserve the facility we'll get to. There's your address. There's a Google Maps for it. Its overall capacity. If you're going to be up for daytime, day use, this is the check-in and check-out time. If you are planning on staying overnight, not with day use, just coming up for Friday night and leaving, say, a Sunday morning, check-in is at 6 p.m., check-out is 11 a.m. There is an opportunity in the registration if you want to make other arrangements with the rangers. A map of Camp Brule, along where everything's laid out, and then some of the policies through here. But you'll also see that description of camp, directions to camp, and then the different types of facilities that we offer. So if I just click down on cabin, image, and some of these have descriptions that are coming, but there's pricing. So right there, it will give you the weekend pricing for that facility right there, what amenities it might have. And then if you want to go ahead and reserve this facility, we can click on reservation, but we'll come back to that. Dining hall, right there as well. Now, kitchen is a little different. Kitchen with dining hall. As has always been in the Five Rivers Council, if you rent the kitchen, you have to get the dining hall. Just because you get the dining hall does not mean you have use of the kitchen. You actually have to use this kitchen with dining hall in order to have access to the kitchen. Here are the campsites. All the campsites are listed. You can reserve a campsite. However, realize that ranger or caretaker has the final say on that site when you show up, and it can be changed at a moment's notice. The rangers have the best idea of the conditions at camp, so it may be a site that you wanted to use, but depending on the conditions up at camp, that may just not be a feasible location at that time. So we do reserve the right to change that campsite without notification. So they're all through there. Program and multi-use. This is where you find the day areas, so the campgrounds. So when you want to come up to use the area for day use, so such as going on the trail hike programs, or you're coming up to go fishing, or you just want to be up there for a day, this is where it's going to be. And then program area are the areas that are not sleeping in. They are, you want to do training, or you have it as an activity area. So we're at Brule, so there's Pierce Pavilion and the Taylor Room. Down below this is the use policy. This is the same as it's always been. Really no major changes in here. So you do get a copy of this when you do your reservation. We'll see that. Check-in procedures, any checkout procedures, how the cancellation policies work, and the cleaning policy. These are all here, and you do get copies of all this upon your reservation. So just going to scroll to the top again. Quick go over to Camp Gorton. And you'll see that it's the exact same setup in here. Times are the same. The layout of the pages are the same. Cabins lay out the same. I'll note in here that for the quads down there, you can specify what quad you want, 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, or you can do all the quads. Now, you can do, like a 1A and 1B, and that's it. And you pay the individual price. There is a deal if you rent all the quads together. So there is a price break for renting all 4 of them. We got the Adirondack shelters, again, the dining hall, the kitchen with dining hall. So all the same. And there's the camp use policy again. And going down through all the same other features that we just talked about. So how do we do a reservation? Well, there's 2 ways, and we'll look at both of those. So the first one is reserve a facility. Now, again, can't stress this enough. If you have not created an account, create an account, because then it remembers who you are and it saves the reservation under you. So if I click on reserve a facility, it's going to ask what date am I looking at. So I am just going to arbitrarily, have March 27th down here just for fun. And then I can select a facility type. Do I want a cabin, an Adirondack, so on and so forth. So right now I'm just going to say a campsite. So what I see now is it shows up with the campsite, and I can click here for information about that site, and look how that showed up there. So I can click reserve, but we're going to go backwards here real quick. So Algonquin, here are the dates that are out there. Now, in order to set it, you go with your first date. So if I wanted to arrive, I had Saturday, March 27th, but I really meant, that Friday. So I back up, and you can see it adjusted the calendar a little bit. So I'm going to go from the 26th, and it's got the 26th there, but it wants to know when I'm leaving. And you can see as I extend this out, it creates a cross, right? So we're just going to say we're going to leave on Sunday. You'll see that it added the reservation up here in 2. It's 1 facility for 2 nights. And if I click on checkout, it's going to show me that. We will come back to look at this checkout in a minute. So we're going to go to reserve facility again. I'm going to select campsite. And you can see that this is showing up as this is what I've got tentatively booked right now. And this is making it easy, because if you needed more than 1 campsite, or when buildings are back open, if you need more than 1 building, it's kind of already showing you where you're planning on, so you don't, pick a different day or overdo it. So again, what we looked at before, if I click on Cayuga and I click on reserve, right, it's showing me, it's defaulting to right where I'm at. And, I can go right there, and I'm sure that I'm hitting the same weekend, and you'll see it changed up to 4. Okay. So again, now it's 2 facilities for 2 nights. That's how it's looking at it. So I don't want anyone to get confused by that. That's why I'm kind of stressing on how that works. So you can go through here and keep adding as much as you want until you are done. Same time, at any one of these, you can see when I'm looking at the specific location, when we were looking at the overview page, there was the spot on like the campsites where we could click on the pricing and amenities and all that. If you're on the specific page for that location, you can click on pricing and see what this is. Now, one of the things that I kind of want to stress on here a little bit is with the buildings. The buildings have a sleeping capacity if you go over that capacity. So, it's not really counting the numbers that you put in here. There's an option to put in the numbers, but the system itself doesn't actually keep to it, because they're just estimates. What you put in and what you show up with are 2 different things. However, if you go above fire code, we will add another building onto you, and you are responsible for the purchasing of that. The buildings at the same time also note if the capacity is based on double bunks. And if they are, you cannot take the bunks apart. Those bunks have to stay up, because that's how we're meeting fire code. We're making the capacity with double bunking. If you take the bunks apart, then there is not enough room to meet fire code for those buildings. So we would have you put them back up. If you have scouts or maybe adults that aren't comfortable being on the upper bunks, then I'm going to suggest that you get another building straight out ahead of time. So we finish up with what we want to do. We head right over here to checkout. So right here, one last time, we get to see what we want. Here's our check-in. Here's our checkout. Same thing here, pricing. If we want to, that's not the date I wanted, I can go right in here and change the dates. If I didn't want this one, so, you know, I guess I really don't need this one right now, I can go ahead and remove it. So then I can continue to check out. So we're going to hold on just a second here because I'm going to log in. I'm a big fan of, you know, password programs. Okay, so now I'm in there. Activity, selected roster, my roster, a unit I'm associated with. I can import profile, log out. These are things we've covered in other videos on event registration. So we're just not going to handle that one now. So I'm going to check out. This way it'll be under me. So I'm going to continue to check out. So again, 5 Rivers Council, and this is taking it off of my login information. So unit type. So I'm going to change this over to a troop for right now. Is it a boy or girl troop? Right? And then what unit number? Now, the nice thing is if this was already in my profile, the information would already be here. If it's not in my profile, then it wouldn't be here. If you know you don't have it tied into your profile, you can select the troops that are here. It's actually sorting by troop. But the other nice thing is under the search button, I can just start typing a number, and then I find it, boy troop, girl troop. So we're just going to pick on the girl troop. Brings up here, we should confirm that all that information is correct. Again, if you have a logon and you are tied to a unit, it would remember all of this. So click on next. Now, this is estimated. How many youth do you expect? I'm going to say 10, and I'm going to say 4 adults. Arrival time. So we know the dates, right? Because this is when we put it in. I already told you what time the check-in is at. And just so you have a little bit of an idea here, I'm going to say done. And that's kind of letting the ranger know that we're coming here for the 28th for our checkout. And 10 a.m. done. And then planned activity. So this could be as simple as camping. It's just giving the rangers and caretakers an idea of what you're looking to be doing at camp. So they're the ones who end up seeing this. Is just kind of give them an idea. Okay, I go ahead and click on next. Okay, so again, if you're with a unit, this is the great thing. Just because I created the reservation doesn't mean I'm actually going. You know, maybe I'm a member of the committee who's just setting up all the reservations on the treasurer, whatever it may be. You can bring in the stuff if you're in with a roster. Now, this is just my roster. If I had selected this to be part of the unit, but I'm not with the troop, then I could bring up that and I can copy in the information from the roster and it shows up. Now, of course, it's scouting. We require 2D leadership at all times. So we got to bring in at least some of it. Sorry, you can also add in additional, if you want to add in additional leaders, you can, and then delete. You always have to at least tell us of 2 though. All right, billing information. So depending on how I'm going to be paying for this, it's going to go the same way. I can copy from a contact that I have already put in. So if I'm responsible for the billing, the payment, we're going to put me in there. Here is the conditions of council use. So this is all that on the first page. In order to go any farther, you have to read and agree to that. Then there was the policy about camp, which is essentially that, you know, the ranger can change the campsite at their discretion due to, you know, what's going on the grounds. You know, the ones that the building are going to say that you have to do it based on the building. So Down here, you have the option of credit card or pay by mail. If you want, for my purposes, I am just going by pay by mail, and it'll generate out a receipt for us. So please make your check payable to the Five Rivers Council, amount $40, include your reservation number with your check. I'll show that to you in a minute. And then we're going to finalize payment. Okay, now at any time, there's the back button. We can go back and it's like, oh crap, I forgot that one registration. We can go ahead and add in that one registration. So you're never really stuck into what it is. So I'm going to finalize payment. Okay, there's your reservation number. Automated system has come in. You know, there's the phone number. If you haven't made a payment, you've got 14 days to make it. After that, we do reserve the right to cancel out that reservation. This is preventing people from just booking with no intent to actually use it, or they're booking a bunch of extra buildings and they're not sure what they're going to end up using. So we do keep an eye on that. You know, we will contact you prior to deleting it to make sure that you just haven't forgotten about the bill, but strongly encourage either pay it online or make sure to get the payment in. If you want to pay via your Scout account, email or call the council and let us know that you want it billed off of your Scout account. Again, we will need that reservation number. So we're done here. We're going to go to my email real quick. Maybe we'll go to my email real quick. Okay, so here's a reservation from the Five Rivers Council. Bring the waiver of liability for all people attending for overnight use, made 14 days, we can cancel. If there's questions, contact here. You can go back to your reservation status by your own login, or you can click this link to bring it all up, and then here's a copy of it again. So, and again, here's all the information about the reservation stuff. So if I click on the reservation details, it brings me right in. Now, I would get the same thing if I went to my login, and then there's view activity. And then here is, under year-round camping, here is the rentals that I just set up. So again, it's giving me a quick overview, balance due, and then I can view reservation, and it's bringing me back to the same thing. So what information is here? I can make a payment. And right through here, I can put in the credit card number. It's the only thing that's going to take is just going for a credit card. We are exploring the idea of doing unit account as an option on here. That is not there yet. Fill in all the information, submit a payment, and you get a receipt for it. So there's my reservation number. Here's the date of the booking, arrival, departure, estimated numbers, our planned activity, primary leader, additional leader. And we've got this information in through here to look at, okay? And this will show you the transaction. So if you come in and you only pay a little bit right now, it's going to show on this date, this person paid $20. And on this date, this person paid the other $20. So, you know, if you want to do it in partial amounts, you can. That's definitely not an issue on here. So, you know, if you need to make a change to any of this, then obviously you can't make the change here, right? You can't edit a reservation that it's up. So if you need to delete your reservation, if you needed to take some of the facilities off because you didn't need them, then you do need to contact us, and we will contact the main office, let us know in an email or in writing what you want modified, and we can do that. As far as deleting it goes, we can issue out refunds in accordance with the policies right through there. If you really just want to add on facilities, it's like, oh crap, I rented one and I need two, just go in and make another reservation. You really don't need to modify this current reservation to do that. You can just go in and create another reservation, and that doesn't create an issue with that. So in the end, that is our overall system. One last area I'm going to show you about when we get to our areas here. We're just going to go to Camp Gorton real quick. We're going to go to reserve a facility. We're going to take a look at a cabin. Okay, if it's not available right now, like I said, right now due to COVID, we can't rent any of our buildings for anybody to use overnight. It's all grayed out. This same thing would happen with a tent site. So if I go to this tent site and I'm going to advance myself up to the weekend of the 26th, right? These are booked. So this tells you right now that this is booked. And like this campsite, Seneca, is out of order for right now, so it's not being used. But right now, this tells you that the campsite is used up. You know, it can't be rented out by you. It's being used by somebody else. So, like I said, this is a very, very intuitive system, I think. And the fact that it shows the stuff in real time, I think is going to make a lot of us happy on there. And then same thing, you know, our rangers and caretakers get the paperwork as soon as the reservations are made so that they see it. So you don't have to worry about getting to camp and no one knew that you were coming. And they weren't surprised by you showing up. I think this is going to solve some of the issues that we've seen in the past. So I'm very happy with it. So other than that, if you do have questions, always please, you know, get a hold of us, let me know. You know, you can find me on the About Us page under the Council Commissioner area. Again, you know, on our main webpage, if you're having issues, down near here, we have a tech support area, you know, where you can submit a ticket here, submit a ticket here, submit a ticket here, where you can go in, click, and if you're having problems with any of the online systems, you know, just send in the support ticket, and one of us who works with these systems will be in contact with you shortly to help work through it. The other thing I'm going to say is once your weekend is done, you've had a nice experience out at Camp Horton, Camp Relay, or Dorman, you will get an email that's going to have a survey on there about the rental process, the facilities, check-in, check-out, all that. Please take a moment, fill it out, give it back to us. I mean, it's only a few questions long. It's right online. So it's not like you even have to mail it in. But nothing changes if we don't get good feedback from this whole thing. So especially being a new system, we're looking for the feedback, but we're always looking to make improvements for your experience as well. So please take a moment and fill out that survey and send it back. It comes automatically to the person who registered for the event. No, I'm sorry. It goes to the contacts for the leaders who went there. So please, again, fill it out. Let us know how it went. We really do value the feedback, and we always look to make things better on that one. With that, I'd like to thank everybody for participating in the webinar. I'd like to thank any of you who watch this later on as it gets posted, and we will have the links posted on the water cooler, and we'll also be putting it out on that main reservation page so that anyone who goes there, whether they're a scouter or not, can click on it and set up their own reservation. So with that, have a nice night and good scouting.